here on Pro Wrestling Sheet. I am your host, John Rocha, recovering from an awesome Raw that I really enjoyed. Share shots for everybody. My lady is back, son. The boss. So much to talk about here. And also a fantastic weekend of wrestling. Joined as always by the CEO and editor-in-chief of Pro Wrestling Sheet, Rocha and Satin. How are you, brother, man?
I'm doing all right. I'm tired.
Yeah, man.
So
a lot of wrestling,
A lot of wrestling this weekend. And I went to a show on Friday, too. I went to the GCW show on Friday.
I saw that. Maybe someday I'll get an invite to that. I'd like to go.
You can go.
One time?
This wasn't I went with my girlfriend.
Is it free?
I'm sorry. I went out on a date with my girlfriend to a wrestling show.
No, it's okay. I could take it for now. But down the road.
When I only have 2 tickets, my girlfriend does take precedent over all my friends. I apologize.
I don't know. Erica snarks sometimes. I don't know. I think it'd be better. No, just joking.
No, she does get smarky sometimes.
She's hilarious.
No, for sure. So no, that show was great.
Yeah.
That kicked off the weekend. Those GCW shows, they get a lot of shit on the internet.
Do they really?
Well,
why?
From a certain.
And by the way, tell people with GCWs, not LA people.
Well, it's not an LA. It's not an LA thing.
Okay.
It's an independent promotion.
Okay.
They're the ones who keep doing the Invisible Man stuff that you've probably seen on Twitter.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, they're the ones who do that, or they're the Joey Janela spring break shows that have kind of become a big deal. WrestleMania weekend and stuff like that. So they've been kind of. They've been getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
And even out here, their first show was in a small venue.
Sure.
The second one was a lot bigger.
Yep.
And this one was like a primo venue.
It looked like ECW, like back in the Hammersmith.
Honestly,
it had
or
that
Hammerstein.
vibe. Hammerstein, sorry, Hammerstein.
And honestly, they're slowly getting like I'm not gonna say they're ECW, obviously.
No, but they're getting there.
But with the way the landscape is taking shape in wrestling right now, and we're kind of having 2 major companies again.
Yeah.
Like where one, well, at least it seems the jury's out still, obviously, but where it looks like we're maybe heading towards that way. GCW would certainly be what you would kind of would classify as like the growing version of ECW in the very early days of ECW.
Yeah.
Because they just do outlandish stuff, but they know the wrestling fan base very well, at least the hardcore fan base.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say the mainstream as much, but the hardcore fan base, they know them. They know what they want. They know the stuff they dig.
Yeah.
And even the Invisible Man stuff, it gets a lot of shit on the internet. But from fans who think that it's like the Jim Cornettes.
Well, Ryan, not just fans. Yeah,
Jim
exactly.
Yeah.
That was an interesting thing to. And if you're watching Jim, put down the tennis racket and calm down.
He's not watching.
But like this idea that was hilarious to me, this idea of being offended by the invisible, calling it shticky stuff. I don't get it, because to me it's like, wrestling has some regal, noble background of stuff. It's professional wrestling. We've done ludicrous things throughout the history of professional wrestling. Even in the main federations, the top companies have always done crazy,
while he was working
stuff.
there. That he pitched on creative, probably.
Yeah, that's what I find. Some of these older guys, and look, you compare it to ECW. The ECW people were getting destroyed by the old school intelligentsia, for lack of a better term, of pro wrestling when they were building. So that's when I think if you're getting insulted by the old dogs, you're doing the right thing.
And so with the Jim Cornette thing, I think I even said it on here once, or Wrestling Sheet Radio, that like I really am trying to be more open-minded to like
his opinion.
People to other people's opinions, so I don't be like, oh, you're wrong, asshole. Like I'm really trying my best. So I was truly wondering, because to me, with the way wrestling has evolved, to me it feels like everyone knows it's a work. Everyone's in on it.
Yep.
So to me, it's just like music or theater or wherever, where there can be different genres. Like there can be different rules for different things.
Sure.
There are different rules in different TV universes or movie universes. I saw The Rock in the Fast and the Furious franchise, or the Hobbs and Shaw thing, pull a helicopter from a chain in the air to attach it to something, to a car. So like that movie universe, it's ridiculous. And that's why, when I was talking about it here and I was laughing at it with you, and Frosty was saying like, come on, the rules in that universe is different. And that's kind of how I feel here, is that like, with the way wrestling is starting to go, to me, I feel like there are different rules within each company. Like, quote unquote rules, like the things that have been established. And within GCW, look, I know it's really silly. Yeah,
but it's also fun.
It's fun. Yeah. And two, I would say it's just, they established this through like a whole thing. It wasn't just like all of a sudden there were invisible. Well, there was the Invisible Man, but they've they've gone and like formed a whole thing out of it. He's got a family and a brother, and he died and came back. Like, it's a whole thing now, you know. And like the Undertaker was goofy as hell too when it came out, and now it's one of these beloved things. So I was genuinely trying to see what he thought about the universe idea of like each company can do these things if they've established them and stuff, and it did not go well, as everyone saw on Twitter yesterday.
If you haven't been on Twitter, you can follow us threads between him and Jim Cornette. Cornette just likes to fight. He's just an old.
I feel like I handled it well.
You did. I thought you asked him his opinion. You wanted to have a conversation.
I tried.
When he got brutal, you kind of gave it back to him, because as a man, you have to defend yourself.
Yeah, I was
when you're
attacked. I can't be a bitch.
There's nothing wrong with that. And I think Cornette's one of those old guys. He just loves to battle. He picks fights with all these people, and he has a history of it. And that's how he also gets clicks and ratings. And so how much of that is really his feelings? How much of that is to get attention for himself?
Well, even Matt Jackson from the Young Bucks replied, you know, they notoriously have a whole thing with Cornette. And even he replied that Cornette came up to him at a convention or signing or something and was like, hey, we got the best angle going in wrestling. Everyone thinks we've got real heat. And they were like, we do, type thing, you know? So, like,
and the reality is Jim was never that big of a deal. I hate to break it to you. I know from decades of watching wrestling, he was always like that redheaded stepchild, just out of the avenue of Vince and all these other people. Even when he was a manager, there was always Heenan, there was always Freddie Blassie, there was always even Harvey Whippleman. I think that's about comparable to where Cornette was when people looked at him as a manager. Now, when he went on and ran federations, great, but he's never been that kind of. I'd even put Jeff Jarrett above him, and I don't like Jeff Jarrett that much. So.
It's funny. I thought I did laugh at the whole like you're trying to become famous off of me thing. I was like, come on,
like, outta here.
Come on.
And then, real son.
And also like his whole thing about saying to me about like, oh, you're part of that whole generation of basically implying like fans that don't know what they're talking about getting into the business. And it's like,
Black Box
you were
Theater,
a fan that just got into the business too. You didn't wrestle. You were a manager, and then you work behind the scenes. Like, I don't understand why you talk to someone and say that, oh, I'm trying. You can't be smartened up. I tried to have you smart me up, and you were an asshole. Yeah. You fucking old.
Now you sorry. You don't have to do that.
Sorry.
You have to punch down. Don't punch down.
Sorry.
You're on the ascendancy. He's on the descendancy. There's no need to punch down.
Sorry, made me mad. Sorry.
Anyway, let's move on to.
But real fast, the GCW show was super fun. I really enjoyed it. Super, super fun. If you didn't watch it, I would say for me as a fan like of wrestling, it was the best GCW show I've seen in a while.
Wow.
The matches in general were just all really fun. It wasn't a bunch of deathmatch stuff. The main event, yes, the main event was a deathmatch and it was terrifying. But the rest of it was not deathmatch stuff. It was just like a good wrestling show. So go check that out if you can. I like the stuff that GCW is doing. NXT
was okay. Here's the deal. I'm not done with the Gargano, Adam Cole matches. I'm in the second fall right now.
You haven't gotten to the third fall?
I haven't gotten to the cage coming down, which is the best part. But
it's like when the match starts.
I had my 1 year anniversary with my girlfriend this weekend. She planned our entire weekend. So
I saw the things. Congrats.
I thank you. I had to wake up at 5 o'clock every morning, the last 2 mornings, to try to watch both SummerSlam and the other one. And I have to deal with my girlfriend calling it lady porn every time she walks in the room and there's ladies fighting. My baby, she goes, my baby and his lady porn. I'm like, it's not lady porn.
Yeah.
These are athletes. So it's just funny
You
stuff.
just put on real porn at 5 in the morning and see what she says then.
That's right. Yeah,
like, this is lady porn.
She'd probably like that more. But this was, look, this entire card was so much fun. TakeOver rarely disappoints. And the matches were so much fun to watch. The Baszler match was good. But my favorite overall, because I haven't finished the Gargano, I can say right now, is the Io and Candice LeRae match. That was fantastic. And Io turning heel has done such great work with that.
Without question, the match of the night.
Yeah.
No question. I loved the Gargano match. It was good. It was great. The Gargano Adam Cole match. But Io Shirai and Candice, they had like, to me, it was reminiscent of the old like Sasha Banks, NXT, Bayley kind of match.
Point.
Not Sasha versus Bayley necessarily, but like that era where it was like a, whoa, like those two people just turned it out, you know? And I think that Shayna wrestles a very specific style. And I'm a huge fan of it. I really like Shayna. But it's definitely a more dominant style. And it's not as showy.
It's a slower paced style.
It is. It's a more
it's like 70s
technical.
Wrestling. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, she trained in that style. You know, like that's
what she does best.
That's what she does best. Exactly. So I enjoy it because it is different than what you see. But with Sasha and Bayley and Charlotte back in that era and Becky, you know, I always felt like when you'd see any even Asuka to a certain degree, you know, where like when you'd see the matches, each one always felt like it was like, whoa. Yeah. I've never seen the women do that. Like, whoa, you know, that was like the whole thing. That was why they became a big deal. It's like, whoa, I've never seen the women do that. Right. You know, and while Shayna does have that, it's not Shayna's style is not a wowing style.
Yeah, it's more like damn.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ooh, exactly. Right. So to me, it was very reminiscent of one of those kind of kinds of matches, because we don't normally get two women's matches on the TakeOver shows.
No, right, exactly.
So you know, the fact that we got one that was a little different than Shayna's, I loved it. Candice, you could tell, wanted to show that she should have been on these takeovers all along. Yep. And she did. I think that, you know, you knew she was going to lose going into it. Of course. But she did such a good job of making you think that she was going to win at certain points. I was so invested in that match. I loved every minute of it. Io Shirai's new heel vibe with the new gear. Get her up to everything. The main roster. It's great. It's fantastic.
She's so good.
Yeah, she's so good.
God damn, she's good.
Her facial expressions, everything. And Candice is so good at like getting the crowd behind her. So yeah, loved that match.
And Candice takes the bumps. God damn, Candice takes the bumps. I mean, the one on the table with her back right off the bat. Like right off the bat, I was like, oh my God. And then her jumping out through the middle rope to do the DDT Hurricane or whatever that was. That was incredible. So both of them but Candice, because Candice looks like a little bit of a wave because she's thinner, and you worry if she can take those hits, and she takes them all and keeps coming for more. So all respect and love to Candice, and of course Io as well. Io rather. Yeah.
Well, I think it did the perfect job of showcasing two things. Io's new mean streak and Candice's tenacity. That Candice fights. That no matter what, Candice fights until the very end, you know, and never gives up. And even if she lost, she fights till the end. And so that, I think, was really was something I liked. I did feel like all the finishes at TakeOver were a little weak. Like even that match, the way it ended, I didn't love the finish.
Was it a bit clumsy?
Not clumsy. It was just kind of out of nowhere. It was like in like and not like in an exciting out of nowhere way. It was like, oh, that was the end. That was a really good match. That's how it ended. Right. That was one very nitpicky complaint, obviously. But I loved the tag match. I loved the three-way match. The Velveteen Dreams Mountie entrance was so perfect. And then, I don't want to spoil the Gargano stuff for you.
That's fine. No. Just don't. I don't mind. I know who won, so it doesn't matter.
Okay. It was really good.
Yeah. Okay.
It was really good. Honestly, I felt like the two out of three falls thing wasn't needed, in my opinion. Yeah. I don't feel like those other two falls really added anything extra.
No, it was all just to get to that.
It was all just to get to the weapons cage. You know, you could have just started with the weapons cage, and everyone would have been totally cool with it. I just had a long weapons match, this long weapons cage match or whatever. And you know, one of the things that's the most complained about part of the match, people keep glomming onto, and I know because I tweeted one of the videos and I've seen all the stupid quote tweets of it, but is, you know how Adam Cole does that Panama Sunrise move where he like jumps off the middle rope and then he lands for like that. He lands in like a pile driver position and flips over for the destroyer. So he did that 2 times, one from the top rope and one from high up a ladder. But all the like, but actuallys of the world are quote tweeting of like, well, that literally adds nothing extra. If anything, it makes it harder for you to do the move if you do that, because you're jumping from higher and you're stopping short and then having to jump.
Wait. So these are the people who couldn't even jump off the lower rope to try that move, telling you the physics of whether that move is better or worse from the positioning. Calm down.
That's how I mean, we're not using those words. That is how I felt about the situation. I was like, calm down.
I tell you what, if you're going to quote tweet that and bitch about it, you better post a video of you doing it in a better way, and then I'll believe you.
Just jumping from the top rope.
Yeah, just jumping from the top rope and trying to do anything.
It was really cool, though. And then, can I tell you what you want to do? Do you want to know the finish? Do you want to know what the finish is?
I don't care. Yeah, sure.
Just watch it. It was good.
Fine.
It was good.
It was good. That's your
It was
review.
good.
Fine.
I liked it.
Good.
I enjoyed it.
Okay.
The finish was crazy. It was definitely, you go like, but yeah, good stuff. Let's get to SummerSlam. Yeah, switch to SummerSlam.
All right.
The Fiend.
Yeah, that's the talk of the night. I mean, that was incredible. There were shades of obviously this is an interesting line they're walking, Ryan, because he is not walking away from the old Bray Wyatt stuff necessarily. but he's incorporating a new approach to it, and he seems to so far be hitting all the right notes with the fans. And so kudos to Bray for doing this. And I know you tweeted about like stuff he'd been working on maybe since 2015. 2011, sorry, where he had this idea.
It was both.
You're right, both times.
Well, the 2011 video, I tweeted a video yesterday from 2011 where it was after the Husky Harris stuff, and he went back to FCW to try and find a new gimmick.
Right.
And he comes out, and it's his first time trying out this new gimmick at an FCW show, and it's the name Axel Mulligan is what he came out to, but he's got like a Slipknot looking mask, which this mask is very Slipknot-y, the Fiend. Yeah. It's clearly along those lines, you know. So this one's like a more metal Slipknot mask, like from the older days. Metal mask, came out as Axel Mulligan. The music was had a very like similar like riffs of like hard kind of stuff. He did the same kind of like weird walk to the ring kind of thing, and then he comes in and he wrestled. He's sitting in the corner, like laying in the corner, and then he does like his thing in the match. His finisher was a stunner, which I thought was funny. He did actually a really good stunner. I was like, damn,
not surprised.
It's got a good stunner. And then in 2015, it was when Bray Wyatt had already debuted, and I guess they did this thing called Superstar Ghost Stories. Where wrestlers were talking about ghost stories, like this time they had seen ghosts. And Bray Wyatt's, I didn't remember it, but Bray Wyatt's was a trip, and he basically, it's early on into his run in WWE, I want to say, in 2015. It sounds like it would be early on in his run. But anyways, he's talking about how he and his brothers, grew up in the swamps or whatever, and then they moved in. Abigail said she was going to protect them, so they moved in with Abigail in this cabin in the woods, or the swamps or whatever. And Abigail always said that there was a man in the woods that we needed to avoid at all costs, and that he had yellow eyes and long yellow hair, and which is the yellow eyes the Fiend has, the yellow hair, long yellow hair, the yellow eyes and yellow hair, and that you must avoid him at all costs. And long story, he gets to the point where he goes to the woods, he gets interested, he goes out into the woods, and he does run into the ghost in the woods or the man in the woods or something like that. I think he had lost like a toy, and he was trying to find it, and the man in the woods was holding the toy, and he gets scared, and he takes the toy and he runs back or something like that, and he's all scared, and he runs back to Abigail and apologizes and says, I saw the man in the woods, I'm so sorry, and I won't ever happen again. She says, don't you know, the man in the woods is you. You are the man in the woods. And you go, wait, so Bray was talking about the Fiend stuff in 2015. Like, that's the character building that Bray Wyatt has. To bring it all around, though, dude, that was one of the coolest presentations of a character I've seen in WWE in a really long time. Like, Finn had something like that in NXT. I feel like the Demon hasn't been quite as cool in the main roster as it was in NXT, because in NXT they did it differently, the way he didn't want to bring it out. And the way the Fiend, the way the entire presentation played out was so cool. Like, so cool, so metal. And that lantern. Yeah, the lantern with the mouth. His face, his old face, with the mouth open and the hair. I thought that was incredible. And the eyes are stitched up too. Like, there's stitches over the eyes, so they keep him closed, so he can't open his eyes. This is, once again, still the Bray Wyatt stuff. The lantern is still there. All that. It's interesting. The fans all bring out the lights on their phones. All of it is just there. It works. I had said to Jamie, because I watched this Jamie's house, and right before Bray came out, I said, I hope he doesn't have like a lantern still, and or whatever. And then when they showed the first shot of the lantern, it was Bray Wyatt's head. I looked at Jamie and I was like, oh shit, that is so awesome. Never mind, I'm an idiot. Don't listen to me. And just, you're right, because the fact that they kept so many elements of the old character, I know they can't make the fans do it, but you knew it was going to happen. Yeah. Especially when they heard the music. When it was a revamped version of his old theme, and you're like, oh, sick. Like, this is like a metal version, a new metal, harder version of his old theme. That's so cool. Yeah. And just you know what you talked about, just the refresh factor of things, and I honestly believe this might go down as one of the best character refreshes of all time. Like Sting's probably number one.
Oh, absolutely.
Because he was already on top, goes
yeah.
away, comes back as this dark character.
Right.
And he had all his time on top.
Hogan too. Hogan
too.
Hollywood Hogan is an incredible.
True.
change.
You're right. True that.
He went from cheesy to badass.
I said one
overnight.
of, not the.
But no, I know you.
Yeah.
I know you.
So I'm trying to think of the others. Yeah, true. Hogan and Sting.
There's not that many.
Hogan,
really
Sting, Undertaker when he became American Badass for a while. Does that not count?
No, a lot of people don't like that he became. A lot of people really don't like the American Badass thing. They because it was Taker, they went along with it. But in retrospect, a lot of people don't like that American Badass thing. Because it just kind of undercut what Taker was.
I think you just didn't like it.
No, I'm telling you.
So you're just saying a lot of people.
I was alive when it was happening.
I was alive when it was happening?
You were 5.
No way. I remember when that happened, dude. It was the coolest when the Kid Rock music started.
Yeah, but he first came out to Limp Bizkit. Don't forget.
No, Kid Rock was first.
Was Kid Rock first?
Yeah, because it was.
And then Rollin'. I think
it was Kid Rock. No, it was Kid Rock first.
All right. They used Rollin' at WrestleMania.
Because it was like they had those little girls and the dresses, and then it was like. Are you scared? Yeah, no, it was
okay. All right.
Undertaker was Kid Rock first.
Okay.
Because that was the whole thing. It was like, the American. That's how they got it over. It was like the whole song was American Badass.
That's true.
I wonder if they don't play those. If they don't have the rights to use that song on the network. I haven't gone back and looked.
I don't think I've.
Because I went back and watched SummerSlam '98 this weekend, and. Which I don't know why I watched more wrestling when I was about to watch so much wrestling, but I got hyped on it. And all the Highway to Hell stuff is taken out, and the ICP theme song for the oddities.
Oh, it's
They just cut them all out entirely. I was like, it sucks. Sorry, not to get sidetracked because we have a lot to discuss. I thought everything about the Fiend was cool too inside the ring. Like honestly, the whole time he was on screen, they did this really cool job of making it look like a horror movie.
Yeah.
From the lights afterwards and the. And like him turning around all sketchy with the lighting and everything. Such a fantastic job of presenting the Fiend to the audience.
Yep. Agreed.
And that snapping the neck.
Oh yeah, that was scary as hell. And also his conflict within himself.
Yeah.
Which I like. There's a nice new element to this, and this is going to take a lot of effort from Bray to make this feel authentic and make this work, because he has walked into a minefield. And by this, I mean the best kind of minefield you can walk into, which is you've created an incredible character. You've tied him to your past, your most recent past, but now fans are like, okay, what are you going to do next? Once you raise the bar, people want you to keep raising the bar. And so we'll see who he fights, because obviously I think the Balor thing, like you said, is going to take the break.
Yep.
So someone's got to step in who's going to be just as tough for Bray.
Well, that's why last night, and it's one of the only tweets that was a lot of people didn't agree with last night, was I felt like it was a big mistake to not have something with Bray Wyatt on the show on Raw last night.
Oh, I hear what you were saying, and I get your point of view, but I also understand why people think it's good to just let it sit, let it marinate a little bit.
And I didn't really mean the Fiend necessarily.
Oh, just like a Firefly Funhouse.
They should have had some kind of Firefly Funhouse where it was Bray Wyatt being like, I tried to tell them, Abby, they didn't want to listen.
Maybe like I don't know, what do you call, like a doll of Finn's head?
Yeah,
on a plate.
His little white underwear sitting there.
Something. Yeah.
You know, or just him being like, I tried to tell them, like they didn't want to see the Fiend. I told them like they should have let me in.
Yeah.
Let me in, and then like just something, just one tiny thing to be like this, because it was the biggest talking. It was the biggest talking point coming out of SummerSlam. So I feel like it should have had something, even a recap. And I never want more recaps on Raw. They didn't recap it, nothing. And it was what everybody was talking about after SummerSlam. So to me, that was a mistake. But like you said, I also, after seeing all the replies to it, I get what people are saying as well in terms of like not wanting to oversaturate, you know, the Fiend or whatever, or use him too much. The show was very full. So I get it. I get it.
I like. Can we jump to another?
Yes.
I know I'm kind of bearing the lead here, but I really enjoyed the Rollins Lesnar match. I did not.
Fantastic.
I did not anticipate that I would like this match. I thought I'd be on my phone through most of it. Absolutely not. It was incredible. Great chemistry between these guys. And it was believable, and the way it all worked out, and fans went along with Rollins being able to flip out of these attempts to do the suplexes on him, the German suplexes on him, and I thought that was brilliant.
Yep.
All of it worked and pushed the story between them in the ring further and further, to the point that when he finally got that victory, it was believable. I know fans are like, well, then why did he have the Money in the Bank? That's the whole point, is he's a villain. He's a villain. So now Rollins gets put over and Lesnar gets to do other things, and that will come back as well. And now you've created a real rivalry. Both men have beaten each other for the belt. That's important.
And you've made Seth Rollins a believable lead main eventer of the show. If you want to have him as the figurehead, you have to have him put on a very competitive match with Brock Lesnar. And that was what they did. And I felt like it was probably one of the best Seth Rollins matches in a long time, especially as like a singles face wrestler.
Absolutely.
I felt like, and also, you know what? People love giving Brock Lesnar shit, but Brock Lesnar puts on good matches. I'm sorry. When he wants to, dude can put on a dope match.
Certainly better than the Goldberg match. That's for goddamn sure.
Yeah, it sucks.
Like I predicted, if it was going to come out and be some stupid fucking jackhammer and everything, it was going to be a waste of time, and it was a waste of time. I think they did more damage to Dolph than if he had just fought him and lost. To have him keep asking for Goldberg to come back into the ring was a massive mistake. I'm sorry. I'm taking
it's okay.
I'm taking a tangent here, but I don't want to remove what we were talking about. But to me, there's the difference. There's the difference. Lesnar always puts on a great or good match. He's never not good.
Here's the difference, not between those two.
Yeah.
Here's the two things to compare. Goldberg versus Dolph Ziggler and Charlotte versus Trish Stratus.
Yeah, great.
Charlotte versus Trish Stratus.
Good
Legend
match.
Versus current wrestler. Goldberg versus Dolph Ziggler. Legend versus young wrestler.
Yep.
Charlotte versus Trish Stratus. Trish put in the work.
Yep.
Trish came in the best shape of her life, in ring shape, put on an awesome match that she not only made her look good, but she made Charlotte look good.
Yeah.
She made Charlotte look like the top female wrestler in the company. You know, regardless of if she doesn't have the title, if she has the title or not, she made her look like someone who was on her level.
Yep.
And Charlotte helped her get there. Charlotte carried a lot of that match.
Yes, you could tell.
You could tell.
You could tell that Trish, the timing is still not quite 100% like it was before, but you know, Trish carried that match.
But because Charlotte's at the top of her game,
right?
You couldn't. It wasn't like it was like blaring in your face. You were like, great, these two people are working together.
Yep.
They're killing it. You know, Trish lost, but still came out looking like $1 million.
Yeah.
You know, the crowd was into it.
Yep.
Lost absolutely nothing by it. Got to have an awesome farewell,
Yep.
if that's the case.
And people were legitimately upset that she lost. You could see it in the crowd.
Absolutely.
They were so invested in her
Which
winning.
only helps Charlotte.
Exactly.
On the other hand, you have Goldberg versus Dolph, which Goldberg came in. I wanted to give the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I know you did.
But it wasn't there. I mean, he came in, he did exactly what you'd expect. I'm surprised he took as many super kicks as he did, the way that match went out when he took the one from Dolph, the two of them from Dolph.
This is not how you erase the Undertaker.
But here's the only problem in my, yes, we didn't enjoy it. Maybe like the hardcore fan didn't enjoy it, right?
Right.
But did you hear that crowd?
I know the crowd totally, and
they were cheering his name they do. They went insane for every single spear, which I will say, he has the best spear in the entire business.
Agreed. Coming off the rope and delivering that spear,
it looks so powerful.
Brutal.
It probably hurts like hell.
Yeah, and Dolph sells it.
Yeah. Jackhammer too. I love those two moves. But because of that, and that's why the crowd was going insane. You know, I don't know. You know, if Stone Cold, would we be that mad if it was Stone Cold and Stone Cold's match was him not taking any bumps and it was just him doing the stunner 2 times and coming out?
We wouldn't need to be mad because Stone Cold would never agree to do that. Stone Cold knows people come to see him wrestle for a while.
That's a good point.
Goldberg knows his limits, right?
True. And his thing was always short matches.
Yeah, short matches was always his thing, which is why the Taker thing stands out like a sore thumb, because it went longer and it basically reinforced what a lot of people's complaints about Goldberg have been since the beginning, that he doesn't have the endurance or the strength or the skills to go for long matches.
Yeah.
And it's an anomaly that fans who are in the arenas love it.
Yeah.
because the rest of us, and I was,
and it is fun in the arena to watch.
Yeah, sure, I'm sure it is. It's devastating.
Yeah.
These moves are devastating. The problem is you don't get classic matches from Goldberg.
No.
There are no classic matches from Goldberg.
Well, that's not fair to say.
What classic match?
Well, the one versus Hogan where they sold out the, what's it called, the Georgia Dome, I think, or whatever it is. I could be wrong on the actual place, but you know, the one when he his big fucking match.
That's fair.
Legendary
I'm
match.
probably biased because he beat my Hogan. So that's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
He's got lots of matches, but
he's got lots of matches.
he's got lots of legendary matches too. I don't say maybe like not like wrestling classics, but he has lots of very famous matches. He's like he was at a time one of the most over wrestlers in the world.
I remember his ascendancy. It was insane.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But I agree. I think that, hit Trish versus Charlotte, miss Goldberg versus and the best part of the Goldberg match, honestly, was watching the watch along and hearing Matt Riddle talk about his interaction with Goldberg backstage, where Goldberg was like, "I'm not your bro." Go check out that video if you haven't on the site. It's really good.
You're next. Becky was great. The Becky, Natalya, and I didn't expect much from that match. First of all, kudos to WWE for starting the pay-per-view with that match.
Yep.
That was kind of brilliant. You immediately got the Toronto crowd into it, but I'm going to say this, and there were some boos for Natty. From the beginning, I was very surprised by that. I think that's the fans saying they respect what Natty did, but they're kind of past it now. And we'll get to Raw when people were like, "Thank you, Sasha," when she started beating up Natty. So
I know, I felt so bad.
That's
for
the
that.
thing. I think you have to kind of accept the situation where you're at. Maybe
That was also we'll get to that.
yeah, we'll get to that. But the match itself was great, and Natty fought a hell of a match. Both of them had really good timing with each other, and the submission holds were really well applied in certain moments and in certain new, unique positions. I enjoyed that at all, and the victory seemed solid for Becky, and we're done with it.
Yep, agree with that.
Yeah.
Kofi versus Randy. I was a little bit disappointed in it.
Massively disappointed.
Yeah,
this is
the
not
finish
how you
was
end this thing.
Well, I feel like they're prolonging it, but they should have just had
what?
Kofi go over here. It's SummerSlam. Like
But
that
to
was the
where?
big moment.
Right.
Well, to an actual see who finished, like to another pay-per-view.
Yeah. What
Because
pay-per-view though? This is one of their marquee pay-per-views.
Agreed.
What, Survivor Series?
Well, Clash of Champions is next, I'm sure. But I agree with you. This would have been a marquee moment. This was it. I'm very surprised they didn't have Kofi have a big moment here. It would have made all the sense in the world. And to be honest with you, the way the match was paced just didn't make sense. It was like it never clicked for some reason, and I don't think it was the fault of the performers, because I think if those performers had been told, "Hey, the intent of this match is to give Kofi another big moment," I think they both would have been able to do that very well, and unfortunately that didn't happen. The RKO to Kofi in the air when he jumped the top rope was awesome.
That was awesome, yes.
Same with Kofi's son beefing up to Randy Orton.
Yeah.
I loved that
with
too.
With his fake belt, I love that.
Yeah, with his fake belt. AJ versus Ricochet was dope.
That was good.
Bayley versus Ember was all right.
Oh God, the crowd was dead.
Yeah, it was pretty rough.
I don't know what that means.
The build was terrible to the match.
But does that mean they don't care about Bayley as a champion?
No, I think it was just a terrible build to the match.
Okay.
Like there was no reason to care.
Okay, if I was Bayley, I'd be concerned after this.
Fair.
Because the fans have turned on her before. So this has been a long time to build this back up. I'd be concerned that this is your reaction at a pay-per-view from the fans. So.
And everything else, I don't think there was too much to discuss before we get to Raw. We can maybe if there's
the
anything
Iconics
else.
getting beat again by. So are they done? Like, are they done?
I don't know.
Do they end up on commentary now?
No,
or as
calm
ambassadors for the
down.
WWE?
Calm down.
I'm just saying.
This guy.
Fodder. You can't be on a 1-year losing streak and then anyway, all right.
Hasn't been a year. It's been WrestleMania.
Has it been? It feels close.
WrestleMania a couple months ago.
It certainly feels like a year full of losses. All right, so let's move on to Raw now after we've done our... overall, a good SummerSlam.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And
yeah.
NXT, really enjoyed it.
Yeah. All right, moving on to WWE Raw. We start off with Rollins, who, of course, as we mentioned, beat Lesnar. He comes out to talk about his match, giving the credit to the fans, really playing it. The fans, no boos. The fans were totally behind Rollins, which hasn't been the case. And Toronto fans will tell you how they feel, like Philadelphia fans will as well. They'll tell you where they feel about you, no problem. And they certainly were behind Rollins. This was really surprising to see. He talks about this.
It's because of the match.
Yeah, because the match was good.
Yeah.
Yep.
He
agreed.
put his money where his mouth was.
Great point, Ryan. Absolutely. And he says
you can't wrestle Baron Corbin and then expect to be like, I told you guys we have the best wrestling in the world. No offense to Baron Corbin, but that's not what you're going to get.
It's true.
It's not when you say that, what they want to see afterwards. And I like Baron Corbin now. He entertains the hell out of me. I'm just saying, he does. He's entertaining. But I'm just saying, this is the kind of match you need to have.
Exactly. Of course. But he's interrupted by AJ. who says he can be a better champion than Rollins, and they set up a match for later that night between them. Not for the belt, I don't think. It's just a match. So what do you think about all of this?
Oh, it was good.
Yep.
I think that, I don't think AJ is going to be the next person after all of this. So I think it was just kind of like to me, it just seemed like we need something in the main event. These are our two most reliable guys. Let's put them in there. I enjoyed it. It wasn't bad, and it was a solid follow-up for both of them.
Yeah, agreed. I thought so too. And it sets up a little bit of filler time before he gets to the next thing, which is probably Lesnar again from what we saw last night. Street Profits.
Is that what you think?
Yeah, eventually. I think it will be that.
Okay.
Yeah. Street Profits are in the back talking about homie needs electrolytes and all this kind of jazz. They get interrupted by Sami Zayn of all people, who tries to tell him, like, enjoy it now, because once you stay here long enough, everything goes away. It's terrible. It's the worst. And you end up like Joe crying about Roman Reigns and his baby. Well, I was like shocked. And then Joe comes in and completely demolishes Zayn and challenges him to a match, which we get after we get the announcement of the return of King of the Ring. Holy mackerel, Ryan. King of the Ring is coming back. King Booker and King Harley Race. I think that's a great timing.
Yeah. Wait, is Sami Zayn versus Samoa Joe next?
After this announcement, yeah.
Do that, and I'll wrap all three together.
Sounds good. All right, so and then Joe comes out, completely demolishes Zayn in the ring.
Discussed there.
But then Joe cuts a heel promo.
That's what I wanted to say. So that's why I wanted to wait until you said that before we discuss the other part. So I was so confused because at the front of it, I felt like, in that first one, I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Only a face.
We are getting a face turn for Samoa Joe. He's over here. He's going against a heel.
Right.
He's re-angling, as we said, his character a little bit. And then he comes out and he definitely cuts a heel promo after it's over, which means about how he doesn't care about the crowd.
Which means they might have maybe course corrected, and he is going to be the person who's responsible for all this shit happening to Roman Reigns. He is the mastermind of it all, possibly. Because he says, I don't need an apology from the Reigns. I don't need an apology or apologize to you. I don't need the WWE Universe. I don't need anybody. Like EO, I don't need a you. So, that's possible.
Maybe that is what it is. Yeah.
I mean, I think because they were going face.
It felt that way.
It's a weird course correct.
Maybe they I don't know. You could very much be right, because it's weird how there was the only follow up there was at SummerSlam was on the pre-show when not as many people are watching, and just Rowan attacking Buddy Murphy real quick.
I don't know.
I was like, okay.
Yeah, that was weird.
Weird. I like the way. I guess what you're saying makes no sense, so I'll roll with that.
Even though it's an unmotivated turn, we don't know. Like, this seems the more logical possibility. Doesn't mean I'm right.
No, totally.
Yeah.
It's very possible you're not right. No. I guess because of that.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what to feel about it yet, because it really was like I went oh. So and then they canceled each other out. So I don't know. King of the Ring, though, pumped. I love when they do King of the Ring. Of course. The only problem is that sometimes when you see they're doing King of the Ring again, the hardcore fan in us goes like, yeah, King of the Ring, this thing we love from our childhood. And we all get pumped to see a one-night tournament, if that's what it's going to be. Sometimes they split it up, which is less cool.
They make it
they spread it out, which is way less cool when they do that. The whole fun is watching the one-night tournament.
Yep.
And then I also go like, well, but then they also just put them in a cliche. They just they make them wear the crown, and they make them wear the cape, and they make them wear they hold the scepter around and start acting like a king. I don't necessarily need that either. Like, did Stone Cold do that after he won King of the Ring? No, this just catapulted his career. I want this to catapult someone's career in a dope one-night tournament. I think the King stuff that goes with it does almost water down the fun concept of this being something that just elevates someone for a night, so I hope that we're getting a King of the Ring without all the King regalia and stuff, and that we're just going to get an actual one-night tournament, because honestly, Drew McIntyre, Baron Corbin, and I'm trying to think of who else is in that tournament. That's a heel.
Maybe Strong. Oh, a heel?
No, I'm trying to think the three top heels. Those are the two.
Wouldn't Joe now be a heel?
Maybe. But Drew McIntyre, I definitely don't need Drew McIntyre, Cesaro, or there we go. That's the other one. Drew McIntyre, Cesaro or any of those guys to be like walking, or Baron Corbin to be walking around with like a cape for the next 4 months, calling themselves King Baron or something like that. It's just like, I don't need that.
You know who needs to win it? R-Truth needs to win it. That's who needs.
He's not in it.
I know, but he would be perfect to win it.
I felt bad for Xavier Woods when he got all excited that he like wanted to be in it. He tweeted like, "Please put me in this," and then they tweeted out the list like shortly after, and he wasn't on it. And I was like, "Oh, poor Xavier Woods. They should have put him on it." I know.
Anyway, all right. Next up, we'll see what happens with King of the Ring. Looking forward to it. Next up, Miz and Dolph Ziggler do their little thing. Ziggler comes out and he claims that he's medically not cleared to fight, and then Miz is a coward for challenging him after he fought Goldberg. But then he attacks Miz from behind. They get into a good match. Miz does his thing, gets the victory. Then Ziggler repeats this thing that he did against Goldberg as well by getting on the mic and calling him out. He comes back, Miz does. It gives him the skull-crushing finale. I don't know what this did.
I like you.
Yeah.
I felt like it's just like sorry, I was finishing that response to one. Just like you, I thought the thing was stupid Goldberg.
Yeah.
Like where it was like, kept calling him back in the ring. Like I didn't understand what message that was supposed to deliver, what that was supposed to do for anyone. I don't think it made Dolph look tougher. It just made him look dumb. He already lost. And the same thing here was like, I mean, the match was all right, but at the end of the day, it was like, what is this thing they're doing with Dolph? They're giving him these really annoying things. It should have been me. Now it's, I lost and I want to lose again. It's like, I don't get it.
The only way I think this works out well is if they keep this going and the crowd starts to slowly get behind him. That he is that kind of a fighter that he's willing to get back up and get destroyed and keep fighting. So he's the underdog. So then it should have been me becomes a rallying cry when he slowly becomes face down the road. I see the logic of this possibly working out, but it's going to take a lot to get there. And I wonder if they're going to be committed to it to getting there, because he has to keep doing this now against everyone he fights. Because he's been losing against these people. He has occasionally gotten a victory, but he's been losing mostly. So if he starts to make these challenges, then it starts to become a thing, and then fans start to cheer for him when he gets back up every time to take the finishers from all these people, and then he starts to become a face, and maybe gets a shot at the U.S. title, or even, God forbid, the main strap. I don't know.
I feel like I'm so tired from this weekend that Rocha and I have like somehow reversed roles here, to where he's trying to like find the light in something really negative, where he's like, no, here's how it could be good, when that's usually my role on this show. So all right, I'll go with it.
I'm saying maybe.
No, hey.
Because if this is the way they're going,
twice now you stopped me from being mad about negative about something, so.
All right. We'll
Good
see.
job.
We'll see. I still hate the Iconics. All right. Becky in the back talks to Chuck. Charlie, not Chuck, but she does call her Chuck, about how she'll fight anyone, anywhere. Basically laying the groundwork for what we're going to see a little bit later. Becky does. Yeah, Becky Lynch in the back.
One thing I loved here, and it's something it's been happening more increasingly, and I love it, is the wrestlers doing the like looking into the camera stuff. It's old school.
Yep.
But I've hated when they pretend like the camera's not there.
Right.
Because that camera is powerful. There are millions of people behind it for them.
Yep.
You know, people are gonna see that, and when the right guy can talk into the camera and make you feel like you're right there, right man or woman, excuse me, can make you feel like you're right there, like you're part of it, like you're in it with them. Then there's, even when they shoot up close, it makes you feel like you're there with them, you know? And this promo was great. Same with Seth's later in the night, the ones where they were up close.
Yep. They finally let Becky off like the chain.
100%.
And all the weekend at those events, fan events, when she was recording, or people recording her making comments about stuff or doing mini promos, she was killing it.
Yep.
And this was another mini promo to say, like, I'm waiting for somebody to really step up and come after me, and let's do this thing, to be challenged.
Well, there was talk,
laying the groundwork.
You know, there was a promo that Becky did over the weekend. I think that's maybe the one you're referring to, where she went off and mentioned Sasha and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, she went after Sasha.
There was talk
and made fun of her social media. Good God.
There was talk of Sasha possibly making an appearance
at SummerSlam.
At SummerSlam, yeah. You know, initially I had mentioned here on this show that I had heard that I was surprised when they announced Natty, because I had heard there was gonna be someone else. I had heard initially that it was gonna be Sasha wrestling at SummerSlam.
Oh wow.
So they've been working on this for a while. I didn't want to say it because plans do change, you know, sometimes, and there are things that are planned in advance. But I also don't believe she's gonna be at SummerSlam well, Nash is going to be at Raw. Like, it just makes you look silly when you have to, like, keep changing when you say that they're going to be there. So I'd rather just, like, not spoil it anyways because it was a cool surprise.
It was.
But there was talk of her either, you know, first it was wrestling possibly, and then it was making the post-match appearance. And I think they just decided, like, we got a lot going on. We might as well save it for a big moment on Raw.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit. Elias comes out saying this won't be an interrupted segment. And then we hear the Ricochet noise. They're really leaning into it. They're really into it.
I thought for a second his jacket had bullet holes in it, but I don't think that's what it is.
I don't think you should. Well, that'd be terrible.
Yeah.
On so many levels.
Yeah.
Ricochet, they get in. Elias and Ricochet get into it. Good match. Good. I thought Ricochet taking that bump through the rope onto the ground. Sweet Mary Mother of God.
Why? Why would you do that?
Yeah, exactly. I
Seems so unnecessary.
Testing the limits of your body, I guess, having a little fun, but it was crazy.
You can see that he's so good at like turning his body midair.
Yep.
And he like went through and still was able to like turn his body in the appropriate way. Like it looked unreal when he did it, the way he turned his body. Yeah, it wasn't a bad match. No. I hated his gear at the SummerSlam, the Nightwing stuff.
Gear, yeah.
Just like, I don't know. I guess more.
Did you like Gargano's Wolverine gear though?
Yeah, I did like Gargano's Wolverine
gear.
So
it's all a matter of how you do it.
Well, you know why? It's because Gargano's Wolverine gear didn't change his whole look.
Right.
Took the jacket off afterwards.
He was still Johnny Wrestler.
Ricochet in a whole bodysuit looked weird.
That does look weird.
Especially he's got like the best body in one of the best bodies in WWE. Why would you hide that?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm assuming it's because they want like a toy that's like a Nightwing WWE toy. Whatever. Synergy, exactly. But this match was fun.
Yeah.
They definitely, you know, it wasn't like anything crazy, but it wasn't a bad match at all. I mean, both, you know, Ricochet did some cool stuff. Ricochet had some cool flip around, you know, kicks to the face. He did a lot of cool kicks to the face and like, you know, kind of like where he jumps in there and does like ensiguris, but a lot of cool ensiguris and stuff. So I liked the match. It was fun.
I did too. And speaking of Elias, we should say real quick, the Kevin Owens Shane match was fine. Kevin Owens got the victory.
It was good.
It was good. That's all I like to say. No, the victory though here was a little controversial. He kind of had his shoulder up, and Corey Graves mentioned it, and even Elias was looking at the ref like whatever, and the ref's like, I saw what I saw.
I'm guessing that's the next feud for the two of them.
Yeah.
Although. I guess later in that he won the 24/7 title, so
yeah, that may be. There's all kinds of things happening, right? There's all kinds of things happening and crossing over. Let's get to Rey and Andrade. This is interesting, very interesting. It was supposed to be a 2 out of 3 falls match, but Andrade won both of the falls, didn't get to a third one, and decisively so. And they said something in commentary when they were coming down that Andrade and Zelina say they want to be the new face of Latinos in the WWE. I kind of liked that.
Yeah.
And I thought the matches were great, good back and forth. I thought the first match, of course, the first fall was a little weird, but that second fall was incredible. And you were shocked that Andrade won, and then in the back when he's talking to, I think it's Charlie, he gets emotional saying, I don't know where my career is now. I just have a family to feed, and he starts getting emotional. This is interesting. Where are we going with this?
I was wondering the same thing. I really liked it, though. You know, I felt like it was something new for Rey Mysterio to kind of be like the down on himself, you know, end of the road wrestler. You don't really look at Rey Mysterio like that because he's been killing it so much, and he's been so revitalized since coming back. So I did think that, you know, it was weird, the 2 or 3 falls thing. Like, I didn't like it. But then I go, well, but I guess every 2 out of 3 falls match usually still goes to 3 falls.
Yeah.
So I should like that they did something different. But then I thought to myself, why do Rey like that? Like, why make him lose twice? You could still get the same thing over just having him lose once in a hard-fought match. So it was interesting. I don't want to say it was bad because I did think it was very interesting. I felt like, you know, I almost wonder if they found a new way to bring Dominic in.
Yeah, possibly.
Because he was talking about family. I was going to feed my family, family to feed, all that kind of thing. So I was wondering if maybe that's why, because this was like how they're going to maybe bring Dominic in.
Yep, that's certainly possible. It feels that way to me. I thought that as well. Because mentioning the family, dropping the family, the Dominic storyline had gotten thrown away with the Joe stuff.
Multiple times,
right. So
we can't just do the same exact thing. We got to think of a new plan.
Exactly. So this may be it. The Dominic kind of revitalizes him or brings him back in or even shames him maybe.
See, this whole time I had been hoping that it leads to a tag team between the two of them.
Yeah.
Like maybe if Dominic's not ready, I'm sure he's ready enough to be in a tag team. Like, come on. Like, you know, they've had green wrestlers in WWE before. He's there've been a lot of green wrestlers that have been early in their career that have still wrestled in WWE. if it's Dominic Mysterio and he's teaming with Rey Mysterio and he gets 6 months to a year of experience teaming with his dad, they're the Mysterio, the flying Mysterios or whatever, and they're doing their thing or whatever, and then that leads Dominic finally turning on his dad one day because he thinks he's better, and they can get Dominic over. It'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Dominic wrestle, so maybe I'm wrong, but like, I'm willing to see it. So I hope that's where this is going.
Maybe this is the return of the LWO with Andrade.
I was wondering that too. No, to be honest with you, I was almost wondering if they were maybe gonna go heel Rey.
Yeah.
Because have we ever seen heel Rey in WWE? I don't think,
I don't recall if we have. Because LWO was WCW.
Could Rey believably be heel at this point in his stage of his career as like an LWO type, I think, in a heel stable like that?
Let me tell you something about Latinos, which you probably know. We can always vacillate face heel depending on the moment and do it well. And you don't question us because we can do it well, because that's how we live our lives. Rey can absolutely go heel and make it believable with anger, frustration, tears, all of it, and saying like, and go with Andrade and say, he showed me the light. The young man, I forgot what it was like, what I needed, that fire, and he's giving me that fire. And so all of that is possible. And Zelina managing him too.
Rey Mysterio being like the Godfather, not the pimp Godfather, but like the Godfather from the movies,
right?
Where he's like the Don of an LWO, where he goes like, all right, like you want to be the face of Latino wrestling, like I'll make you the face of Latino wrestling, and then he handpicks his little crew, where he gets, he takes, Kalisto or Grand Metalik away from Lucha House Party.
All those guys going heel would be fantastic.
Fantastic,
right?
All the guys would be like, because look at. They have been underused in WWE.
Yes.
The Latinos have been underused in WWE. Yeah. They're all relegated to the same position for the most part.
Yep.
Rey Mysterio and Andrade are obviously the exceptions to the rule for the most part, but I mean, it would make sense.
And you can argue they're just as physically capable, if not more so, than some of the other people who are getting a little more of the spotlight.
And you could start it with this thing going like Rey said, I am getting to the end of my career. What I need to start molding the future.
If you can reform the Bullet Club, you can reform a version of the LWO. It doesn't have to be LWO.
Well, they own LWO at least.
I know. You told me the shirts are on the site.
Then I've got to start calling them I was trying to think of like an OC-like name for some kind of telenovela that I could think of, but nothing came to mind.
Los Zorros. All
there
right,
you go.
Stone Cold here is interviewed by...
More Latino than me.
Yeah, well, Stone Cold is interviewed by Michael Cole here. Stone Cold with the headphones on. I love it. Stone Cold, can we get you on the show, man? But I'm going to do it on my computer at my house, in my bedroom, in my living room with my headphones on. Shout out to Stone Cold. It's like, I'm going to give you this much. I'm not flying in from L.A. to Toronto. I loved it.
I loved it too.
Yeah, that was
But
badass.
I did laugh at going like, okay, Stone Cold had every right to be like, I'm just going to be at home.
Yeah.
Like, thank you for the promotion of my show, but I'm just going to be at home.
Yeah.
But like, USA has offices in Los Angeles.
Oh, of course.
WWE could have sent out a film crew. They should have had someone just sitting in Stone Cold's living room, doing it that way, as opposed to like, hey, Steve, can you call in 10 minutes before you're supposed to be live on Raw type thing? Like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. I was very confused by that. I was like, you can't. His house is easy to find.
Yep.
He'll answer the door for you guys. Send a film crew. Send a camera crew to Stone Cold Steve Austin's house. He's Stone Cold freaking Steve Austin. Send a camera crew.
But he put Rollins over.
Big time.
Saying all that stuff, which a lot of old wrestlers don't do. So
no, he gave him the big rub.
He really did. He really did. I was surprised by that.
I mean, I don't know if you watched the Raw reunion day of special they did on WWE.
No, not yet, no.
It's fantastic.
Okay.
Watch it. It's so good. It's literally 30 minutes of Stone Cold being the coolest guy ever, which you already know he is.
Well, they showed the picture. I know Nash posted the picture of him and Hogan and Stone Cold and with Scott Hall and stuff. So that was cool.
Well, it's like Stone Cold being just like so happy to be home, and he's like backstage like hobnobbing with everyone, and then like he runs into John Cena and he tells John Cena like how proud he is of him for everything he's done for the business, and then John Cena's like, "You guys just got that on camera." That's awesome. You guys got that on camera. That just warmed my heart. That was one of the coolest things I've seen. That's happened to me in a long time. Like, and then like there's like also Stone Cold. There's like a quick moment. It might have actually been this moment was actually during the Seth Rollins whatever it was called.
Yeah.
Not 365, whatever, Chronicle. And it's him, like, they caught a quick moment where it's like Stone Cold in the corner with Seth Rollins, like, you're right here, but you can get here. This is what you needed. And you can see Stone Cold, like, giving him advice and Seth just being, like, a very good student of, like, thank you, I appreciate it, thank you. He's like, I think you're there, you're one of the greatest, but you could be even better. And he's like, and you're like, I love Stone Cold, like he's the best. He also he brings all the beers to the Raw reunion, and the ones he brought, he accidentally spilled. Like his cooler falls, and they all go spilling everywhere. It's great. Watch all of them. They're great.
All right, moving on. Drew McIntyre faces Cedric Alexander here. Some incredible moves.
So good
from Cedric in this match. Great stuff. But that Claymore off the ropes. Oh, holy Mary! I don't know how you timed that and not get your ass like legitimately hurt, because that would look brutal.
So brutal.
And then in the end,
dude. Also the what's that called? Like the side effect kind of move where he had him up. In the what's that? I always.
And then he spun around, yeah.
But you know what I'm talking about. We had him on the top rope, and then he slammed him into a rock bottom type thing, like the side effect.
Yeah.
Similar to the side effect, at least.
Yeah. A lot of good moves here.
Because the side effect isn't starting the same way. Wrestling nerds are mad at me. They're watching this. But, like, you know, you guys know what I mean. It's making me so mad. What is that move called when you...
What, fireman's carry?
No, when you have them by the side, and then you throw them over. It's early in the morning. Sorry. Anyways... Fantastic moves in the match. I love that Cedric Alexander is getting this push. To be honest with you, I thought this match should have been on SummerSlam.
Yeah.
It was built up a bunch on Raw.
Fair.
SummerSlam ended 30 minutes early. This match should not have been saved for Raw. It should have been on SummerSlam.
That's fair.
I think that Drew McIntyre deserved it. Cedric Alexander has been killing it. To me, this would have been a great match to have included on that show.
That's a great point, because it could have been a palate cleanser match in between, because there was no real palate cleanser matches through the whole card on SummerSlam. You could argue Ember and Bayley inadvertently became that, but you could have thrown this match in there kind of as a palate cleanser match, which still would have been a good match to watch if you happened to stay in your seat, but you didn't have to, and that would have been worth it.
Yeah, but in the end, this was great. Even though Cedric Alexander didn't win, he is quickly being elevated up the card. And I love it. I love it.
Yeah. We get a little OC promo in the back, you mother lovers, and we'll see what happens going down the road with them in the match later on. Then No Way Jose takes on, remember me, Robert Roode, the glorious one,
who doesn't have the mustache anymore.
Nope, gets the victory, but
I thought this is where we were going to see the Fiend. Or something.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was like, this is a match no one cares about right now.
Points.
And then they actually just had them have a match.
Yeah, it's a real match.
And I was like, wait, this wasn't like a setup for something? Like not even like a 24/7 title thing?
Roode could go into the OC, and that would help his career a lot. If they're not going to take Balor. I'm just saying.
Didn't you see the pre-show?
Or Jimmy James. Well, I know they went up and talked to him. And
then they did the like, it's always there. It's always there.
But until he 100% does it, it's still not sure.
I think it's happening.
I think
it's happening.
Who's your boy that was his former tag team partner for Roode? Jimmy James, what is his name?
Storm? Jimmy James.
Sorry, James Storm needs to come back and save this SOB. They need to sign him and have him come and like interrupt one of his matches or watch his matches for a few weeks, and then like Roode is like, what do you want? What do you want from me? And James doesn't say a word and walks off for like a few weeks, and then eventually James confronts him and says, you ain't what you used to be. I'm here to save you and bring you back. And they become the Cash Money Brothers again, or whatever they were.
Beer Money
Brothers. They were fantastic on TNA when they were there.
Yeah,
so I would love that.
I've said it a million times. I don't know why they don't.
Yep.
It's a shame they don't, because it would be such a
never been better.
No, and it would be such a welcome addition to the tag team division, because he's just lost right now. He's just theme music right now, which sucks because he is a talented wrestler.
He is.
Yeah.
It's frustrating. He was great at NXT.
And I do think Finn's joining the club.
Huh?
I think Finn's joining the club.
Okay.
I think 2 months away, comes back as like.
But then he can't get his revenge on the Fiend if the Fiend is heel and he's a heel.
So?
All right. I'm just saying. All right, let's move on.
You want to get your neck snapped again, Finn?
Yeah,
or hey, he's got the backing of the club now, so he maybe will feel a little more committed to doing it, a little more bold.
All right, maybe, possibly. We get a little backstage thing with Heyman, Paul Heyman and Charlie. Heyman says, I can't believe I'm breaking a scoop that you don't have, and then talks about rematches and whatever, and then storms off. What do we get out of this?
I don't know. I've been wondering if maybe they're trying to tease that Brock's going to go to SmackDown.
Yeah.
But then you think that, well, if Heyman's running Raw, Heyman's going to want Brock on his Raw.
Oh, true.
So, I don't know. I get the vibe that maybe he's going to go for the WWE title.
Oh, against Kofi.
Against Kofi.
Wow. We'll see. All right, the Revival and Lucha House Party get into it here, and you're like,
You don't even get entrances, nothing.
They just start, and Cole even says, which was really kind of sad. Cole's like, well, you know, the Revival trying to get back in the tag team title picture. And I was like, trying to get back in? They just had the belts.
They are the tag team title picture.
Yeah, I was going to say literally, and then boom, which really doesn't speak well of you and where you're at in the status in the tag team. The 24/7 stuff breaks out in the middle of your match. In my opinion, that does not look good.
It's not good also when there was one of their biggest marquee shows.
Yeah.
And there wasn't one tag match on the show.
That's true. That's actually another great point. Absolutely. The 24/7 title comes out here. The Revival wins it.
First
co-champions for a few seconds. Kalisto comes off the top rope to try to take the belt. Gets a 1-2 count. Gets yanked out of the ring. R-Truth jumps on top of him, pins him 1-2-3, gets that belt back, and then runs away. And then into the back. And while they're celebrating, as they're sneaking around, Elias hits R-Truth from the back with a guitar, pins him. After R-Truth says he's a 72-time champion, which I thought was genius.
Yeah.
And all of this. So now Elias is the 24/7 champion again.
I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I was actually disappointed we didn't see Mike and Maria last night. Like, I felt like they added something to all of this.
Yeah.
I felt like they had added stuff to the 24/7 title stuff. I didn't really feel like... I feel as though the 24/7 title has been one of the highlights of the show.
Absolutely.
And it really wasn't last night. I felt like it was kind of like, it kind of was what it was last night.
You felt it was kind of shoehorned in there?
Yeah, kind of. It wasn't really like anything that entertaining. I felt like they did it because they felt like they had to do it.
Yeah. That's possible. We'll see what happens with Elias having the belt now, how R-Truth's going to find a new way to get it back. But Elias has had it before, so there's nothing new.
I just don't care about Elias being the 24/7 title.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think he's going to add anything that fun to it.
Nope, not at all. And so you've got to find something else if you're going to do something with it. Because now, when you went through that whole marriage thing with Drake, and Drake is still kind of involved in a small way, you got to find something else that's going to be just as funny and just as good with somebody who they haven't been using.
They just really need to progress Elias' character, too.
Yeah, true.
They started to, and then they just stopped.
Yep.
The second Roman came back, they just stopped.
Yep. Him and the McIntyre seem kind of like stuck in this holding pattern, so we'll see. All right, let's get to the big thing. Natty comes out with her arm in a sling, talks about her fight with Becky, says that she will get her revenge at some point down in the future. Says she dreamt about her dad, saying that she did, how proud he is of her, and she reminds the crowd that it's been a year since her father passed, which is insane how fast a year can go. And then Sasha Banks' music hits. We've been waiting for this. As you said earlier, there was news possibly that she was going to come earlier. She comes out. The fans go insane for her. She comes in.
Which, just off the bat, was shitty because she interrupted a woman talking about her dead father.
Her
legendary dead father, and everyone's like, yeah, shut Natty up. And you're like, oh, poor Natty.
I know. Natty really is in the short end of the stick right now. And Sasha comes out, gives her a hug. They both get emotional, crying and whatever. And then just when you think Sasha's looking for a mic to talk and give her she just absolutely destroys Natty and beats her up out into the ring, throws her into the stairs, slams her into the side stuff there. And then out of nowhere, Becky's music hits. Becky comes down. Sasha has a back and forth with Becky and then pulls out that steel chair and just starts destroying Becky. And you retweeted that video that's going around showing how hard she hit Becky with the chair, which was insane.
Yeah, she clipped her like in the back of the head.
Yeah, you saw that, and Becky's head completely went right under.
The funnier part of that is you can see the camera guys doing this.
Yeah. But this is how you come back. This is how you come back, and it was great. She's a natural heel. Thank you, Jesus. This is going to be fun.
You also left out one of the key moments.
Go ahead.
She pulled off the purple wig to reveal the new blue wig.
The new blue,
the new blue one.
Which Lacey didn't like on Twitter, but that was great to see her come back.
I loved it. Yeah. I loved it. I feel like Sasha Banks has desperately needed a heel turn. The Sasha Banks that changed the game in NXT was a heel. That's where she was the best.
Yes.
And I know that when she got brought up, she was a heel, but there was also, she got brought up with like 6 other people at the same time. They had those Team Bad and all these factions and the submission sorority or whatever, and all these things. It was stupid.
Yeah.
And then, it wasn't long afterwards, she was much more angled to being a face because she was pumping so much merch and stuff.
Right.
But this is what we've been waiting for. I didn't need the Sasha Banks that is all friendly to the children and a merch machine. I wanted the Sasha Banks that talks shit to Izzy. You know, that's the Sasha Banks that people are going to go, that people need. That's the Sasha Banks that's going to be a valuable part of your roster. I think that, you know, Becky has desperately needed a strong opponent. She has, you know, she had Lacey, which was a greener performer. Good. I liked it, but it was not like she was some, you know, seasoned veteran. Then she did get a seasoned veteran in Natty. But also Natty, you know, I love Natty, but Natty is, you know, minus a few times, she's not necessarily putting on these like wowing matches. She's just putting on sound, crisp matches that are enjoyable. You're not going to dislike it. But she needs her, you know, if Becky is this generation's Stone Cold Steve Austin, the female Steve Austin, she needs her Rock. Everyone needs their other opponent.
So great.
No good face is ever going to be remembered as legendary unless they have that other opponent that everyone can remember them against. And so I think that Sasha Banks is that. Sasha Banks is the Rock in that sense. She is very charismatic. She's great at being a bad guy, but people still love her. So I think that she fits that perfectly. And I think that, you know, she'd been doing this whole thing on social media where it was like a, you know, I think it was Kendrick Lamar lyrics about a caterpillar turned into a butterfly. So I liked that she worked that in with the hair thing, that it was like, you know, metaphoric and you see it. You know, she also unveiled to show like, oh, I've shed my cocoon of purple hair. I'm now blue-haired Sasha Banks, who's evil. You know, I'm the boss. The boss is like, it's one of those things where you go like, kind of like with Bobby Roode. The whole glorious thing worked because it was a heel thing. Where he was like, I'm glorious. The boss worked because she was saying, I'm the boss. Like, and she was trying to let people know, and people didn't like it. The whole Sasha's ratchet, no, she's not stuff. All that stuff was great. And the fact they haven't utilized any of that on the main roster is crazy. So I think that, man, with the way, you know, the fact that women just main evented WrestleMania, Sasha Banks has been needed. I think that people love to misinterpret what my tweet about her, and I never said the words tantrum. I just explained something that actually happened about her being angry backstage, and she had every right to be angry backstage because from what I've heard, she was promised something and didn't get it, and she finally got tired of it. And you know what? It works. It fits in perfectly to what's going on now. She got tired of it, and she had to change it. She had to be like, no, I'm now going to stop being worried about all of this and be worried about this. And that's great. That's what she should be all along. So I'm pumped. I don't want to see her being buddy-buddy with Bayley. I want to see her being a badass. And that's what last night was. I mean, those chair shots were vicious.
They were brutal. And brutal. And you're right. And this is why I fell in love with her to begin with. In NXT was her, like you said, her being the heel. This is where she naturally belongs. And you hear rumors about Sasha backstage from other people that Sasha can be quite brutal when she wants to be about her opinions on things. So be it. This is who she naturally is. Let her naturally be. The best are always naturally this. The Rock was a great heel. You know why? Because Dwayne Johnson at times can be quite brutal in his feelings about certain situations and not restrict his mouth about it. And that's what you love about it. So it works. And then eventually you respect that because that's someone's truth. You know how you get over in the WWE or any professional wrestling is if you radiate truth in what you're doing. She is a better heel than a face. It's more believable. And you can tell that Sasha has that gear in her, and that's where she exists. So I'm looking forward. This is going to be an awesome program because both of them know social media really, really well, and that's going to be fun to see them battle on social media and on the mic and in the ring as well. So we're going to get it all, and I don't think her merch is going to suffer at all.
Sasha's one of the best when it comes to social media, and she's been kind of quiet, but she's one of the best when it comes to social media. She knows how to play that game.
Crazy.
Oh yeah. And I thought it was funny. They put the shirt out and it was purple themed, and I was like, you guys couldn't have talked that she was gonna have a new color. You would think the shirt would have been blue font instead of purple. It would have been like her new blue shirt. Come on, WWE.
And I want another design. I don't like it.
No, it was new.
The Black Panther design. I don't like that design.
Is that what that was supposed to be?
The two Black Panthers are on the side. Yeah.
Is that what that was supposed to be? The new one they put out last night?
Yeah, she tweeted about it. Look at it.
I didn't notice that it was a panther.
Yeah, two Black Panthers. She says it in the post for it.
I thought it was just like kind of like, hold on.
You just thought it was just design?
Yeah, I just thought it was a cool design. If she had not been alone, she would never have seen the Panther or felt the hope it spread into the world.
Yeah. See on the sides there? There's 2 Panthers in there.
Oh, that is 2 Panthers.
2 Panthers
Whoa.
in the flames. Yeah.
I just noticed like the cool like Japanese-y looking flames, I thought.
Yeah. I like her embracing the idea of the Black Panther. That's great because that's not only Marvel. So I like the idea she can embrace that and what that implies and what that means. Solo, doing your own thing, being a badass. Sometimes being seen as a heel, sometimes being seen as a face, but always staying true to you, who you are. And so that I'm excited about.
Yes. Well, she's similar. Sasha Banks is a wrestling fan.
Yes, she is.
And Sasha Banks, similar to Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt, as we discussed earlier here, he is, when it comes to character building, he's phenomenal at it. And I think that Sasha Banks, she is very good at not only knowing her character, but like little Easter egg type things where it's like, if you know me and you follow me hardcore, like you're going to know these little things I did. She's really, really good at like those kinds of things too. So I feel like retooled, refreshed Sasha Banks could be really good in WWE right now. And the only thing I'll say is this before we move topics, before we move on, because I know we gotta get out of here soon.
Yeah, we do.
Is that when Sasha Banks wins the title this time, keep that damn title on her for after a few defenses, because that is one of the things that has been the problem, is they give the title to her and then they have her lose it right away. Give her a real title reign where she defends the title a bunch of people.
As someone who's won titles and lost them every single time right afterwards, I understand that frustration, because it's that last mountain to climb that lets people finally think you're actually good at what you do. She's got to, or great at what you do, rather, not good, great at what you do. She's got to defend that thing for like 6 months or something like that against a frustrated Becky. And what does that do to Becky Lynch, who can't get over that hump?
That's what I was saying. She needs to be the thing that Becky can't get past for the next 6 months.
Yeah, you couldn't do it with Charlotte, because Charlotte, you had her beat Charlotte all the time.
And also now, the fans will be angry.
Yes.
Oh, Charlotte, you can't let her beat Charlotte. They're not going to complain about Sasha Banks
They're not.
That light.
And for all these people come, oh, she quit, she blah, blah, blah. This is what happens. Sometimes you know your value, you fight for your value, you take the hit, and thankfully your employer knows your value too, and things work out so that you can come back in a more badass way, and I loved it.
It's called betting on yourself.
Yep. Some people do it, some people don't. The jealous ones don't like it when other people do.
Because they won't ever do it.
Because they won't ever do it, The Viking Raiders come out, who gives a shit, boring, whatever.
I'll be with you on this one,
Thank you.
They need something now. They're too many squash matches.
Yeah, agree.
Give them a story. Give them a story.
Yeah,
even something backstage.
Yeah,
them approaching Street Profits. Something.
Have them fight the Revival for F's sake. That'd be a fun match. Nikki and Alexa, they took on the Kabuki Warriors without Paige. Paige having another neck surgery. We send our thoughts, and hopefully everything works out for you, Paige. This was a good match.
Fantastic match.
Right?
I really
enjoyed it. I knew they were going to lose, but I thought it was believable the way they lost, and there was enough brutality on both sides. That the Alexa double kick is a scary, brutal thing in the back, almost like those buckle bombs. They scare the hell out of me when someone takes them. So there was a lot of brutal moves in this match I thought were great.
I felt like
this is going to be a fun rivalry if they push it down the road.
Yeah, I hadn't fully been sold on Alexa and Nikki as a team yet, and this kind of helped get me over the hump. I thought they did a really good job as a team together. They flowed well together. They worked well as a team. It didn't seem like you're just waiting for one of them to turn on the other at this point, which it'll happen eventually. But I thought they did a good job of that. I also felt like the Kabuki Warriors did a really good job of showing everyone that they deserve to be on TV every week. I think that, there was a point on commentary where Graves kept driving this point of like, this isn't the Asuka we've seen, that we used this dominant Asuka. And then Renee said what we were probably everyone watching was thinking of going, well, she also hasn't had any opportunities lately. Like she's never been she's never put in a match or on TV or anything. If anything, they put her in a team that then sandbagged how much she was being used.
Exactly.
It almost like cornered her even more than she had been cornered. So I thought they did a really good job of showing them that like, not only individually are they awesome, but separately they're awesome too, because they were both doing really cool things. They were having these cool tag team moves, but then they were also getting in their regular moves. The Kabuki Warriors, I thought, did a fabulous job of maximizing every moment they were on screen last night to show, hey, we deserve this main event. You can't just not use us and then throw us in the main event, or I guess second to main event.
Yeah, yeah, agreed. There's fantastic. So we look forward to seeing what happens down the road with both of these teams if they're going to go at it and create a program. All right, our last match.
I miss Asuka.
Yeah, of course.
I miss her.
Yeah, you forget that. I mean, if anybody give Becky a run for her money, it's freaking Asuka. So
when I was watching it, when I was watching, I was thinking that too. It's exactly what I was thinking. I was just going like, why? I mean, like, I don't mind the Kabuki Wars. I like them, but you just go like, Asuka, now I'm with everyone. Asuka's being wasted.
Yeah,
you could be doing more with Asuka.
Asuka could totally take that title off of Bayley, for God's sakes. All right, AJ and Rollins is our match, final match of the night. This was basically it was a good match, and then Gallows and Anderson, kind of got involved. They got thrown out, sent back. They didn't go to the back. They come back in, beat the crap out of Rollins for a little bit with AJ, and then they ring the bell. Then Ricochet comes out, tries to save them. Ricochet starts getting beat up, and then Strowman comes out and clears the damn ring. What do we think about this?
Well, first of all, Strowman's finishing move looked way cooler when he added that like spin to the power slam. Like he did like a full 360 in the air. Looked like an actual finishing move.
Yep.
Yeah, the match was definitely just a vehicle to get to this ending stuff.
Yeah.
To me, I got the vibe that going out of this, I guess we're going to have, do you think Braun versus AJ? Or Ricochet versus AJ still?
AJ said on Twitter about Braun, like if you think you can come get this, blah blah blah. So I think I saw that. So it seems like that may be
Braun and AJ is what
they're lining up.
And then who's Seth gonna be?
I think that's still Lesnar. I think he's gonna come back.
You think it's still Lesnar for Clash Champions?
Yeah, I think that's there. And I also think this is possibly laying the groundwork for a Survivor Series between the OC crew and
Seth and his team. Me too.
Yeah,
that's November, right?
Yeah, November. That's coming up. So it's, we're not that far away.
I got that vibe too. But we still have a few months. We're not even at the end of August yet.
Yeah.
But it's definitely laying the groundwork. It felt like that for sure.
Down the road.
It wasn't a bad ending. I liked it. I felt like with Braun, he's kind of been pushed back a little bit. And
the fans went nuts for him.
The fans did. It felt like they were like, yes, we've been waiting for Braun. Yeah. So I think that was good. I thought it was going to be the Fiend. I thought for sure the match was going to end with the Fiend making an appearance.
Maybe.
But too early for that. I agree it's too early for that. I think they get the Fiend over with other stuff for the next few months. And then, honestly, I'd have the Fiend win the title at WrestleMania after seeing how cool that entrance was.
Ooh.
I mean, the Fiend as champion sounds crazy.
Do you think the Fiend can go face?
No.
Okay.
No. Well, I want to see Bray Wyatt wrestling as a face as when he's Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
Like, I really think that they need to keep the Fiend as like a pay-per-view thing.
Right.
For their big events.
Okay. And
that he can wrestle on Raw.
Right.
As the red sweatered Firefly Funhouse, and he comes out with the we're all friends, and he comes out and just like happy waving, and like he's just a crazy person like that and wrestles like that, and like he wrestles much nicer style or something like that. Right. I feel like it'd be a fun thing.
Agreed.
And then you have your three faces of Foley of this generation.
Oh yeah, that's a great point. Yeah. Then there's Dude Love needs to show up.
Well, that's what I'm saying. This is his Dude Love.
Well, who's this Cactus Jack?
The Fiend.
Well, who's this Mankind?
Bray Wyatt.
Oh, interesting. Okay. All right. I'll go along with you. By the way, one last thing I want to say, and maybe this has been happening for quite some time. I really enjoyed the way they're presenting the graphics at these pay-per-views with those logos. Kind of you're panning past them, and they're in the air.
I love when they do that.
Genius.
It looks really cool.
It looks awesome.
They're all obsessed with VR in here, and I can't get them to show because I want to look at it in VR.
Yeah.
3R.
Oh, you mean the Raw?
Oh, no, the pay-per-view.
Oh, the pay-per-view.
That's why it's like that. You can watch the show in VR.
Yes.
So during the entrances, it looks like they're all like in your face, like that. Those things are all in your face, and then you can be like, it's like you're sitting ringside. Yeah.
I have a $200 credit at Best Buy. I'm this close to getting that Oculus and trying it.
We should try it here first.
Yeah, we should. Jack offered to watch SummerSlam. Apparently, you can watch it on the Oculus now.
Who did he offer that to?
Me the other day when I was in the office. You weren't around. You you got a lot of stuff going on.
Slack.
You are on Slack.
There's some
technology.
Slack attack,
son. Slack attack.
When I asked the tech guys here about that, they said, no, we don't have the opportunity. We don't have the availability to do that. Get away from my desk.
We'll figure it out. All right, we'll figure it out. All right, everybody, thanks so much for watching this TakeOver SummerSlam Raw recap on Pro Wrestling Sheet. I don't know if Ryan's going to release this as a whole video or cut it up. But
no,
either way,
I'm just going to put the whole video.
Thank you so much for watching. Ryan, tell them they can read, watch, and listen to everything we do.
ProWrestlingSheet.com. That's the website where you can find all the stories that I post on the website. ProWrestlingSheet.com, at Wrestling Sheet on social media, YouTube.com/C/Wrestling Sheet. That's where you can find all the videos that we publish. Raw and SmackDown recaps, Wrestling Sheet Radio interviews as well. Go check it out, subscribe, like the videos, comment. I read them. I reply back to some of them. So keep doing that. I appreciate it very much. I think that's Wrestling Sheet Radio on all the podcast platforms.
Yeah, there you go. Follow him at Ryan Satin. Follow me at The Rocha Says, and let us know what you thought about Raw and SmackDown. Oh, Raw actually, and the SummerSlam and TakeOver as well. A lot of great matches. A lot of stuff to talk about. We'll be back tomorrow with a SmackDown Live recap. We'll see what the fallout from SummerSlam is there. All right, talk to you soon. Take care. Have a great rest of your Tuesday.
ProWrestlingSheet.com